Hey guys, how you all doing? Welcome to the latest from the review. I do hope you're all well. Thank you ever so much for joining me. I just wanted to make a quick transmission about the ELOIAH gate, which is really intense at the moment. So for those of you who are forming before Adasar, and the other one is Ure Asami, goodness me, how do I say this one? I would call it EULOS. It's a EULOS, isn't it? EULOS. So it's like an A, an O, and an S, isn't it? If you're forming before these and you know yourself to be going through an avatar review and you're moving through the gate transition of free, which is known as the Great Defiance, I do believe it is, you may be seeing the request zone of what appears to be zombies and vampire slayers, all right? So it's really intense. I've just had a shock scare as I moved through and dropped dimensions, and then there was one at the door knocking, and I literally had to move forward very quickly with the help of a group of beings as I'm still assimilating my body, and it's a complete and utter nightmare. I wanted to put this report out for those of you who are watching, so this one is aimed at those who know me very well and are working with me but are not necessarily addressing it. And also I'd like to address the Secret Services, the Ministry of Defence, and let them know right now that they need to keep an eye on the public, especially at times where there is manoeuvring. Okay, so we're looking at how Serapis Bay has infected Doula State and how the AKUAE has gone ship and don. Right, so we're talking about ship and don. We're looking at a Sui, but not necessarily the way that he quotes it. Okay, so it's the way that the defiance is shown through Siany, and Siany is the energy that comes in to contaminate the form body and then require you to assess what's gone on. So what we're doing is we're looking at the DNA, what it's requesting to create protection for the form and then move it forwards, all right? So at the moment, as I explained, there are ghost ships moving through, there are ghost children, there are bangs on the walls, there are all kinds of things going on. And then what we have is the general public being manipulated by the review because they haven't mastered in life yet. Okay, so at that point, the consideration is on due to the nature of isolation and how it is we form ourselves because of what we know. All right, so I myself have gone through some very intense things. As we travel this gate, it can get really deep because there are many within viewer points that come in and decide the fate of mankind for those who are ascending. So if you've received and achieved a very high level of ascension in terms of your body forming, you've transcended DNA 1, 2, 3, they would say it's a 4.80, is it 480 or it's a 791? It looks like a 791 on a viewer chart. So your physical form is still compromised because you are surrendered and you are also considering your view, and at the same time you are acknowledging that there is no more life, and then you are tested in what it is you know and claim to be because people know you're there and all are watching you. Okay, so it gets really intense. It's not to scare anyone, it's just to let people know that at this level it gets really extreme. Now, the fear and review of the offensive would never be seen because those who are ascending genuinely and have taken the time to come into balance and are mastering, are doing the best they can, and these are the ones that are following the law. The others, however, are running around and disobeying, and they can be seen as extremely offensive through the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional review points due to the nature of sleepwalking and reveal. Okay, so earlier on, I saw a complete scene change, and it was a luciferic energy, and I've seen 2 lights in approval of review without any contamination. Okay, so lights are going on and off at will, and the scenery is changing out of nowhere, and I'm sitting here observing saying, oh my god, what is this? And I'm moving through learning more and more about what's been going on with the time matrix. The worst part of this is it's down to people that are pissing around with a computer, and not only that, dishonoring the service by making out they are active in the lies. Okay, so the false ascension matrix by review doesn't actually exist for me anyway, but I can see how it could be possible based upon potential view and why it is we're solving things. Okay, so the more we discuss things, the more it appears, the more they accuse us of being the Illuminati. I was trying to say the Illuminati. Right, okay. It appears we have a few members of the Ministry of Defence moving through, and so I think it's about time that people realise that there are government members that are ascending too. Okay, and they are, and it's very normal. All right. The way you're behaving right now is absolutely disgraceful. And I would say this to the ones that keep dumping in other people's fields and then disputing whether or not they're right. Okay? The only aggression would be your own determination and how you perceive things. All right, so if your perception is that there is an offensiveness, then perhaps consider where you are, because everything should be neutral by the time you enter creatorship or the avataric regions of review. Okay, so if you're not looking at everything as neutral at this point, then there's something going on with you. And really, to adjust, we would understand how the DNA is supporting its own continuum. All right, so within neutrality and observation, there is none. And so to pinpoint and reclamize, you're looking at the determination of your own doing and then saying it is. Okay, so perhaps for each and every one, their pathway is unique and designed that way, fair enough. But then to try to maneuver based upon what you feel is right by everyone without permission of the host or whoever it is or whoever they are that you're supporting by offensiveness of charge, I would say consider what is going on. Transmutation is key in relation to the acolyte. And if it is you're coming in through Syrian review, consider if the body is transmuting at this point because you're determining. All right, so sometimes people try to reach higher than what is required, and then it solves the view. And we'd say, absolutely, if it is essential and if it is you have been there before. If it is you're hitting a stalemate, referencing sequence, it means it's not for your determination chart. And there are a lot of different pathways. Not everyone is on the pathway of what you know to be twin flame, solo ascenders, creatorship. Okay, you've got, what else have you got? I mean, there's the ascension of an own, and then you've got the dragon body, you've got the phoenix body, you've got the phoenix rising, you've got the Jehovah's Witness. Okay, you've got the Christ consciousness through Christianity only. There's so many pathways going on. It's almost impossible to determine the view and to really consider why it is you came to be and how it is now and what's required of you immediately. Okay, so everyone must and it is, and field dynamics stop at about level 3, about 452. It means there are no fields in the avataric regions of review through the 4th density and everything happens out of nowhere, which is really dangerous. Okay, so to try to seed fields in to those who no longer have them based upon a design of past or future and then acclimise to descend and then deliver is pretty evil. Okay, so just something to think about if you yourself are a teacher, a healer, or sharing information with others. You need to understand the art of distribution properly, and that can only happen once you've let go and you've surrendered to Christ. Okay, so it's difficult with the Christ Sophia Mother Father Arc design, which is a Syrian accomplishment zone, because they don't believe that Christianity is solving anything, whereas I do. Okay, so I believe that Jehovah is in charge of the original design, and that's because of the way religion is forming on the earth and the grounded review state of his own. Also, I see many other viewpoints as well and believe they're equally right, and we should all get together and celebrate religion and celebrate spirituality and celebrate our progression in life, and that is to be able to communicate properly as professionals and also as adults. All right, thank you very much. Right, I'm just deciding how to maneuver in this point. I believe we need to run, it's like a faction Suri, isn't it? So looking at containment and review as Apostle Inuo, all right? So anywhere that you have been utilized as a container for fortified, and this explains the view as your accomplishment of many universes pertaining to potential and illiberal light. I would say this: if you have transcended the polarity integration templates, or what you know to be twin flame, this probably will apply to you if it is you start to feel the upgrade. Okay, so I'm going to run this now. All right, so this is only for those who have transcended the twin flame or polarity integration templates. Okay, and it's not for a future or past self, it is for you now. Okay, and this will assist you where you have been claimed as a container for a unique universal review based upon the omniversal scale of a Zydo, and then contaminated through grids and review, because within the omniversal design board there are none that would suggest autonomy. Okay, so grids can be seen as temperamental in Carnamacy, and that is because grids themselves are forming what you would know to be potential but never life. All right, so morphogenetic field would suggest in our moment arrival, and all is required as you are stable in yourself and always balanced, and it's always available to you. once you complete this process, the return is able. How you present yourself or stay depends on what you're here to do, and it's different for everybody, okay? So just because someone sounds like they're in ego doesn't necessarily mean they are, okay? The balance can never be seen. I mean, I've been going through balancing art for nearly a year now, and it's really profoundly cool when you can literally let go of loads, but it takes an awful lot of practice, an awful lot of surrender, an awful lot of letting go, breathing, and it's really profoundly cool, but it's not for everyone. All right, so there are many, many things occurring. I'm just going to address the omniversal scale now. It looks like the universe is attempting to form Poseidon. If you're looking at a holographic unity review point, I would say this, probably no, since unity itself will never be expressive, and it is within the now, moment, and also restriction zone. It means that you yourself may be restrictive by determination and what you would call the knowing of your soul and Pature, right? So I would say every time you identify that it is not and require, it will never be seen because you may be fractalizing or fractalizing. You may well fractalize, and at the point you do, you're always trying to accomplish and retain those parts of you that do not necessarily agree with your internal model. Right? So your internal model would suggest that you are and has always been, and once you know that you're complete, it's something inside you. You just know. You know you are, no matter what, and so you will do work that is required of you for whatever reason without judgment of it because simply is occurring. Okay, so there's no intention, there's no destination other than experiential knowing. And within that, we could say safety is never seen because of the fear mechanisms that we know as survival. Some have to be tested in this way many times over because of the way the universe is giving of itself, okay? And so as we move out of this old design, we're looking at new ones, but they're never really forming yet because of the nature of monsters, all right? And what we would say is it is simply part of the astral clearing review point, and it goes on for a very long time. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a huge universe. As for grids portending to the omniversal and the Sunary, I would say this, absolutely no. The omniversal system shut down about 3.5 years ago because it was never acquiring, and that's because we received light. Okay, so light itself will never determine because it's simply occurring and we have no idea what it is we be. And that's due to the fact we let go and surrender and allow things to happen, okay? There's a viewpoint coming up to destroy potential light. So there are many programs that are facilitating the delivery scene. And that's because of the way that we believe the hologram is active and real. And that could be seen as programming. All right, so we'd say this. We watch many things, and we acknowledge many things, and everyone has a right and responsibility to clear their subconscious mind and learn more about themselves. The game we came into is simply, all right, and we know this. We know there are many games being played. However, if we are identifying with what is and isn't, we must understand that there is the natural and the unnatural. We'd say there is the computer and then there's not, right? We'd say there's the holographic design board and then there's not. And to say that the entire universe is only holographic and there's nothing more is one way of looking at things. A lot of people believe that there are many things occurring, and that's okay to choose, and it would be. So the moment you choose, you could say you create a linear timeline from that point. It's very simple. It's an easy way of doing it, but you do have a responsibility to yourself and other people to do your inner work, and that includes meditation, that includes relaxation, it includes clearness of conscious mind, okay, and it includes resolving yourself from dream walking at identity level 3. So if it is you're determining by a Cedardo, where you're relating to people in a subliminal life, we would acknowledge that there is no more time because everyone appears to be in the 4th density, and that's because of the nature of telepathy. Okay, so I myself have seen it, which is really intensely deep. I've also seen monsters forming through people, and I've seen them walking around. Just the other day, a postman came to me, and he was a vampire victim, and he was drained of blood. Now, I'm not being funny, but I'm in the middle of my Ph.D., and I'm moving through parapsychology and paranormal sciences, and it's completely in alignment with what I'm doing. There is nothing wrong with me having a grounding post to review, and it's something that I'm enjoying and evolving, and that is part of the natural life where humanity can relate, all right, irrespective of my starseed delivery model. And that could be seen as a grounding platform because I have qualifications, and I'm doing it by what I feel is right, and that's because I chose to abide by the law and do it properly after I'd finished my process so I could present it to humanity. Okay, the thing is this, with the avataric review point, it can happen at any time. Out of nowhere, the reality changes, and it does, and it has been. I've seen huge scene shifts, okay, and I'm talking about scenery. And it's really going on, it's really intense. Can we remove him, please? Thank you. At the moment, we seem to have Japanese coming up through the DNA level 3 and attacking people through radio light because they believe that they're better. And what they're doing is they're attacking teachers, moving through their energies, moving through their body. They're attacking their websites. They're putting false statements on the websites, okay? And then really to check again if you are presenting yourself as non-authentic, okay? Because I've seen things going on my website that I'm not impressed with, extra words here and there that's been placed there and I haven't done it, coming on and creating holographic overlays which I've got pictures of, okay? So really to take care of yourself, your website and each other, and to be open-minded and support each other as teachers and professionals. If it is your opinion is your own and your opinion is stronger, consider you may well be co-creating that to oppose yourself to see whether or not you have acquired, and that would be to transcend the scene that you see immediately. He who casts the first stone receives it. I judge you, and then I receive my judgment back. Okay, and be really careful, because it may well be that as you judge another, you are seeing the results of your chaos because you haven't cleared that issue to determine, okay, so right from wrong, good and bad, and all is neutral to understand yourself, and then from that point, it may well be, but if it's always offensive, then consider yourself, you may be offensive, all right, because you repeat yourself over and over perhaps, or you're determining through other means, like observing and copying other people and showing them up, all right? I'm sending you so much love. I'm going to go now. The upgrades are continuing for those that are ready, and we're going to dissolve these fields and level to our view. So we'll look at the omniversal system one more time. It's Sarabari. We're nearly done, and that's the end of the gate by the looks of it. Well done, everybody. All right, I'm sending you so much love, so much love, so much love, and I'll speak to you soon, okay? Take care for now. Bye-bye.